Hello and welcome to Minerals, Rocks, and Fossil Talks. I'm your paleontology teacher, Jen, and it's time for Monday Musings. We're going to take a little tour of the Montana Dinosaur Center where I'm working this summer. So a little background. The Montana Dinosaur Center is in a tiny township called Bynum, Montana. It's just outside of a slightly bigger town of Choteau, Montana. It's on the highway that leads up to Glacier National Park on the east side. And so we get a lot of visitors from the park who just were driving by and we're like, whoa, dinosaur museum, let's go. So, it was started by a paleontologist by the name of David Trexler. He grew up in this area and he and his mom used to go fossil hunting all the time, and that's what got him interested in all that. Hopefully we'll have an interview with him later this month. And yeah, so he built this himself, and we got some cool stuff in here. First up, we do have a Maiasaura skeleton. This one's super cool because it is one of the few Maiasaura that we have found by itself. Maiasaura was a herd animal, and so we find them jumbled together, and there's lots and lots of them, and that makes it difficult to tell which bones go to which individuals. But this one was found all by itself, so it helps us know just how big this animal got. And it's about 28 to 30 feet is approximately how big these animals would get. You'll notice up on its skull here, it has a little bony crest. So it's part of the Hadrosaurine group of ductiles. So that's a group that doesn't have the fancy head crests like Parasaurolophus or Lambeosaurus. But it did have a little bony protrusion on the top. Now, one of the cool things I'll point out, because a lot of people will ask, how do you tell the real bone from the fake ones, from the casts and stuff? Most of the time, your skull is not going to be the real thing because they're delicate and heavy and hard to display. One of the ways you can tell is the way it's cushioned. So like these bones are all set inside and really well supported by things. You can see little metal bits holding them in place. You'll also notice these little white boxes on them. Those are specimen numbers for collections. So each one of our bones is going to have one of those numbers so that we can identify it. Now, one of the really cool things about the Montana Dinosaur Center is that we have the very first baby dinosaurs ever found. This is a baby Maiasaura. So this is the baby of that. This one's about 2 to 3 months old, so it's a nestling. All of these bones were found together in the same spot by Dave Trexler's mother, Marion Brandvold. And she didn't tell anybody at first that she had these because she didn't think anybody would care because she never heard anybody talk about them. Turns out nobody talked about them because nobody had ever found baby dinosaur bones before. So, you know, but kind of yeah, so baby dinosaurs, it's one of our big things here. The other fun one is Seismo here. I'm gonna only give you kind of a preview because I'd rather you just sort of came and saw, but she's very large. She is the longest dinosaur ever found. She is a Diplodocus holorum, once upon a time named a Seismosaurus. She was found in New Mexico. The reason it is here is that the founder of the museum, Dave, he helped at the site, and then he built this model all by hand. And when it was no longer used for what it was built for, he asked for it back, and then we put it in the museum. She is 110 feet long, give or take. Very big animal from the Jurassic period, so not from out here. Now here is our lab where things get prepped out and cleaned. This is part of a Brachylophosaurus here. This thing's been a pain. I've helped with bits and pieces of this animal, and it's frustrating. This is part of a Tyrannosaur. You can see all of the teeth that are in here. This one's been a pain in the butt to also get out because it's in some very hard quartzite and it does not want to break. Here are some of the pieces I helped with on this Brachylophosaurus. So that one comes from Judith River Formation, which is a sister formation of the two medicine that we primarily dig out of. Here we have our sandbox where we glue bones together. Got a part of a limb bone here, some other elements. You can see all the stuff that we're piecing together over here. Some hardcore. You can see all the lines and things from air scribes being used on these. Let's come look at the rest of our brachy over here. So here's a leg bone. And to kind of give you an idea, here's my hand. It's a very big animal, but not as big as some of the other ones we found here. And one of my favorite parts is actually our comparative anatomy skull display that we have. Lots of cool animals, and you can see how similar some of these animals look, such as muskrats and porcupines and beavers. They're all within the same group of animals. And of course we have some of our reptiles, some lizards and snakes, our lepidosaurs. Then a bunch of mammal skulls, raccoon, bobcat, foxes, that kind of thing. You can see how closely all the mammals look. Have some, this one's new and it's one of my favorites. That's a Komodo dragon. We haven't labeled it yet. Next to our alligator. The paddlefish is also really funky looking. But you can kind of see how similar these crocodile, or that is a crocodile, similar all these skulls are, and yet how different. And that's how we tell things apart, but also how we can tell when things are related. We have some skulls over here as well that are older. So we got like the dire wolf and cave bears and a smilodon. So yeah, cool. So that's your little preview. And maybe one day you guys will get out here and see this cute little museum. Honestly, it's the bomb. And the more people who come to visit, the better a chance we have of being able to afford a bigger, better building. And I'm totally, asking you to come visit us so we can get money so that we can make it so much better. We've got so many things to put on display that we can't. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, hope you enjoyed your little tour of the museum, and I will fossilise you later.